So based on my review on this, it seems both G325A and i129f is merged in the same document.
Yeah, they took away the G325A and put the questions in the form now.
Yeah, and they added like questions about the parents, like information about both parents.
Okay, guys, if you're watching this, we're live right now. This is Bruce. We're talking with Prem of VisaTutor, and we've got Yuri here. We're going to be focusing in the first portion of this broadcast. We're going to be focusing on the changes in the i129f form, and then we can move on to questions about the i129f, and it'll be a little bit interactive where we're asking the audience, and then going forward, what we'll do is just open the form up to where you can ask any question you want. Now, bear with me here. We're going to wait a little bit to allow more people to come into the broadcast. While we're doing that, I need to set up a bit. So that's what you'll see me doing here in the background. So you guys were saying that it's kind of merged with the G325A?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
A lot more questions, yeah.
Okay.
A lot more focus on a lot of security-related questions.
Does it seem to you that they're trying to do a little bit more, what do you call it? They're trying to do a little bit, more of a background check type thing?
Yeah, no, see, they're asking more questions, but I don't think they're doing more background checks. But they are being a lot more tighter on the petitioner this time around than they are on the beneficiary. So, as you'll see in the presentation, a lot more questions geared towards the petitioner's background and their, information. The embassy does their own, background check on the beneficiary, and that's going to stay the same way.
Gotcha.
But I think the administration now is just really focusing on security all around.
Okay.
Yeah, this time, they're asking about, children. Before, they didn't have those.
Yes, right.
So it's actually important for them to determine right there as the process is big. When you start the process, I think it's important that additional information of the kids, because it helps them determine if this person can actually afford the petitioning the fiance to the United States. So I feel like that's a great addition for the i129f. Can you?
All right.
You're saying we're live, right? But I don't.
We're live.
I don't see it on the
Are
YouTube.
we on?
Are you looking on YouTube or?
Yeah, on both.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, are we live in yours? Were we live last time in your account, baby, or mine?
It should be. I'm not seeing anybody on Visa approved, and that's kind of. Let me see. Anybody out there?
Cause were we live in your account last time or from Visa approved?
Do you see?
You know what? I see it on my Facebook. But
okay.
I don't see it on the YouTube.
Interesting. Yep. Okay. Steven says yep. All right. Sees us
I think
there.
it's because the time difference.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not it.
Are we live on YouTube?
Yeah. Let me just check the YouTube live stream right quick. All right, for those watching right now, bear with us. What we're doing right now is hooking up both YouTube streaming on the live on YouTube and the live on Facebook at the same time. So
You know what it is? We're on a different event here for Facebook, for YouTube.
Hello, Steven. How are you?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
And where's our screen for YouTube?
I'm working on it.
We got a few people already.
Yeah, I'm seeing some folks appear in Facebook,
Hi,
but
Aubrey.
we're trying to bring in the folks from
are
YouTube.
You?
What we might do is just we really need the YouTubes in there, so I suppose what we could do, Prem,
Cherry,
is just go ahead and
Hello,
allow,
sis.
just
How
go
are
ahead
you,
and go forward with
sis?
it, and then share out the link that's currently getting broadcast.
Okay.
Is that cool or?
That's fine. Yeah, let's do that.
All right, because I don't want to delay any more here.
Okay.
Okay, give me a second to get set up the live. Yeah, I know. Set up the live broadcast here so you guys can see the chat sessions on both sides.
And I see you here on FB and Visa. Oh, Cherry said she sees us on Visa approve.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, it looks like it's going fine on the...
And can see you. Oh, yeah. Zachary said, I'm here and can see you. Is that Zach?
Zachary.
Joe Zach? Or no?
No, I don't think so.
I'm here and can see you from Visa approve.
Great.
That's great.
All right.
Hello.
We've got one side good, so now I gotta set up the
still testing?
YouTube. Now we're about to get going here in a second. Prem's about to give his presentation in a minute.
Okay, guys.
Okay, guys, if you're coming in late, don't worry, we're kind of late ourselves. I only see 4 people in here anyway.
There's
On the Facebook side. Now there's 6. We're gonna wait a little bit to allow more people to come in. In the meantime, I'm setting up the chat for both sides here.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with the i129f changes, because this is when did have you noticed, Prem, when was it
When this
updated?
changed? Yeah, when did the change?
Yeah, so the older forms expired on the 10th of April, so just a few days ago it expired.
Okay.
Yeah, and the newer ones can take effect and will be permanent by June 9th.
Okay, so we're gonna discuss first the changes in I-129F fiance visa, because they've merged some of the forms, and added more questions for the petitioner side and the beneficiary. And then from Trinidad, hello Simon, nice to meet you. How are you? Where's Trinidad, baby? Where is that? I don't know.
Oh, look at that. Okay.
So Bruce, do you see my screen there?
I'm gonna share it in 1 minute. Do we have anybody on YouTube out there? Anybody out there?
I think it's because it's too early.
Nah,
I'm sure Latoya is still asleep by now too.
Okay, I don't see anybody on YouTube, but it's fine. We're gonna go ahead and go. Prem, let me see if I can see that. Yep, there it is right there. All right. So for you guys watching on Facebook, and if you happen to be on YouTube as well, you should be able to see a presentation. What we're gonna do is break down the new changes to the i129f. It should be below us. See it in the screen, but give us a thumbs up if you can see it in the screen below. Thumbs up. Anybody see that? Okay. Looks like we got some thumbs up there. Great. All right, Prem.
Oh, great.
It's looking good. That's awesome.
All right. Awesome. Yeah.
Corey has a question.
Okay.
Are we gonna start on that?
Okay, so everybody with questions, just hold your questions. We're gonna start off with the i129f changes first, and then we'll move on to we'll open the floor to questions. Okay, Prem, you're good.
All right. Hey everyone, so welcome. I'm Prem. I run a blog called VisaTutor on the K1 process. I've personally gone through the K1 process myself, but I also have years of helping other couples out too. All right, let's see if you can see the slides here.
Yep, see it great.
Okay, awesome. All right, so recently the petition for an alien fiancé, the I129f, has expired, and the newer version is available online. You can still use the older version until June 9th of this year, which is about a month and a half away. So here's a breakdown. It's a quick breakdown. So if you already filed and submitted the I-129F, then there's no change for you, right? So there's no change. If you haven't filed yet, then you have two choices. You can still use the older version until June 9th, or you can start using the newer version immediately. But after June 9th of this year, you have to start using the newer form, and the older ones won't be accepted anymore. Okay.
June. Did you list it down the changes? You can old form effective.
All right. Just a quick disclaimer. Look, we're not lawyers. We're not professionals. This is just our advice, our information and entertainment. You can't take this as advice for immigration matters. But that doesn't mean we're wrong. All right. All right, so in this slide, I'm going to talk about the general changes in the form first, and in the remaining slides, I'll talk about the specific changes. So of the general changes first, the forms are much more detailed and longer. The petition itself is 13 pages, and the instructions are now 15 pages long. Secondly, there's a huge focus on criminal history, on security, and there are also tighter restrictions on what you must disclose. So this is probably due to the tighter immigration laws from the Trump administration. Finally, the entire form G325A has been eliminated. So the biographic questions that were once asked inside that biographic form are now incorporated into the I-129F form, given one of the reasons why the form is much longer now. Okay. The next slide there. Okay. The first specific change is that the biometrics appointment for the U.S. petitioner is highlighted. Now, the interview was always a possibility, but it was never emphasized. Before, it was kind of rare for the petitioner to have to go in for an interview where he or she has submitted the petition, but now it's kind of clear and more emphasized. But it's not clear if they're going to make it more frequent now, right? So what exactly is possible in the interview for the petitioner? Well, you may be called in to provide fingerprints or statements or photographs to verify a lot of the data. So does anyone have a guess as to why this is a much bigger deal now? Like, why do you ask a lot more questions and a lot more a possibility of an interview? All right, we'll wait for your comments in the chat box there, if you know, or if you have a guess. And while you're typing in there, I'll go over the next point. The second point is that there's more questioning for the U.S. petitioner's employment and their residences and their criminal history. So if you ever had a job or employment or travel history in the past, that will be more questioned. And the same goes for the beneficiary. Exactly. Michael says because Trump doesn't want you. That's pretty much it. It's due to the tighter regulations on the administration there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that they don't. They're trying to be tighter. They're trying to implement the extreme vetting thing.
Yeah.
So, I suppose that's he said in the campaign that that's what he's gonna do. So,
Yeah.
he's
People
trying to stay.
voted for him, so no
Yep.
comment.
There you go.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. So meeting in the last 2 years isn't a new requirement. It's always been there. But again, it's emphasized a lot more
Yeah,
this time.
don't.
So the instructions are more detailed and comprehensible. They do discuss and focus on your meeting requirement and explaining to you what the waivers apply.
So I cannot charge this phone.
So again, the requirement is always there, but now they're explaining it much more. Now they explain the hardship waiver a little more. So hardships include things like, your fiance's culture, religion doesn't allow you to meet them, or that medical reasons prevent you from seeing them. Now, I've got a question for all of you here. All right, so take this as an example, and you let me know what you think if this scenario qualifies as a hardship waiver. Okay, let's say you're a single father or mother, and you have a full-time job. You have no vacation time left on your work. And on top of that, things are getting expensive, and traveling is expensive. You can't leave your kids for babysitting. You can't leave your parents alone, and it's pretty much impossible for you to travel. So do you think this qualifies as a hardship, something you can get a waiver from? All right. Let me know what you think in the chat box below, and we'll get back to it. All right.
I guess just want to ask.
All right. So about the hardship waiver, from this description alone, it's probably not possible to get a hardship waiver. USCIS will give you a laundry list of all the reasons why this doesn't qualify as a hardship, including things as they'll even ask, hey, why hasn't your fiance tried to meet you in the US? Or why don't you go and meet each other in a country that's closer to both of you, right? So they'll give you a lot of reasons. You have to justify all that. All in all, hardships waivers are very hard to get. And I've seen actual medical cases that were denied the meeting waiver because the USCIS didn't see it as a hardship. All right? All right, here's a fun one. All right? The IMBs. All right, the International Marriage Bureau.
International Marriage Broker.
Broker. The requirement has been clarified a lot. They better define what an IMB is, and simply meeting online doesn't qualify as an IMB. So if you met online, doesn't necessarily mean that it was through an IMB and that you have to meet the requirements there. Secondly, if you have met through an IMB, then you have to provide the details on the service or their website or their address or their contact info. Thirdly, if you have to get a written permission from the beneficiary saying that he or she has provided a background check on you for any kind of criminal history. Now, this only applies if it's an IMB, not if you met through other sources. All right. So here's a good one. So do you think that Facebook is an IMB? All right. Write your comments in the chat box and let's take a look. All right. Facebook facilitates in connecting people. They let them talk, connect to each other, and exchange photos.
True.
But it does not charge for anything to be a member of the community. So do you think it's an IMB? Right? All right. We have a bunch of no's there.
It's a social media.
So yeah, that's right. Facebook is not an IMB because they don't charge for you to meet, and that's one of the main reasons. It's not, the primary function isn't for you to, match make with each other. So Facebook does not count. All right, here's a tougher one, right? The next example is Match.com. Some of you might be familiar with Match.com. It's a matchmaking service that operates internationally and also charges for its service. How many think that Match.com is an IMB? Right?
Is it an IMB?
Yeah, I think it is. It can be classified as one, but I could be wrong.
All right. You will be surprised. Match.com is not an IMB.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Even though they provide matchmaking services, it's not primarily intended for Americans to meet foreigners specifically. It's operated domestically and it also has an international branch, but their primary function is not to meet Americans with foreigners. So it doesn't have an emphasis on that particular aspect, and also it charges comparable rates for foreigners as well as Americans. So because of that, Match.com is not an IMB, and in fact, if you're unsure, you can email them and they will give you the same response. Okay? All right, so criminal history is one of the big topics that's been really highlighted in this new form. Security's gone much tighter, and now the U.S. petitioners got to disclose a lot more criminal history than you can imagine. So it's not that now more crimes are on the list. It's just that if you were involved in crimes in the past that are on the list, then you have more of an obligation to report it. So this means a lot more documentation and follow-up. Okay, so now, even if you were ever arrested or convicted for something, or charged, regardless if it ended up in a conviction or not, you still have to provide the documentation. That's one of the big major changes that I've seen in the new reform. Okay, so if you're been subject to any kind of restraining orders against you, then you have to provide the document to back that up. If you were ever arrested, charged, convicted, sentenced, or any kind of disposition on the crimes that are listed, you have to submit the evidence. The big change is the addition to the arrested or charged part. Before, you didn't have to reveal any of those crimes that you weren't really convicted of or charged of. Now you do. So for a full list of all those crimes that you really have to sort of
so now they sort out.
There are in the instructions. And the next thing is, if you're ever involved in a crime or some kind of imprisonment, arrest, or charge in any foreign country as the U.S. petitioner, you also have to reveal that fact. Right? You have to disclose all that and give them all the information just like you did for the other ones. So that's one of the big issues that I see now, and it's going to be a huge requirement for everyone if you are involved, that is. Okay, finally, these newer parts that simply require an interpreter or attorney or a representative who's assisting you in identifying and filling out the forms, they have to identify themselves and sign the form. So Part 6 and 7 are the new ones for anyone who's helping you out. And Part 8 is now an extra part where if you don't have space for something, you just write additional things in Part 8. And that was pretty much it for the major changes in the form. Like I said, a lot of new things, a lot of different formats, a lot of things you have to fill out, and a lot of requirements you have to meet. But most of it is geared towards criminal history, travel history, and a few other things. So that was it. Bruce, can we open up the questions now, or is it something?
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually questions going on.
So criminal records is now updated, and they have a list of crimes that can block you from the I129f.
So
the crimes are still the same list of crimes that are eligible, but it's just that now if you were ever caught in a crime or arrested or charged for it, then now you have to put that in as part of your packet. Before, if the disposition was that you were cleared of charges or just simply arrested, you didn't have to really disclose that fact.
Now
you have to disclose everything.
Are they still focused on specific crimes? I remember one of them was like domestic violence. If you've ever been charged with domestic violence, if you've ever been charged with sexual assault, those were the ones. It's not like traffic tickets and stuff, right? It's like
Correct,
it's very specific
There's still
crimes.
A specific list of the crimes that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
But the scope has gotten a little broader in terms of if you were involved to a certain degree, you still have to disclose that fact.
Somebody said, does that include illegal something? Uh, got some jokes in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's gonna include us then. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
it's very specific. If you've ever been convicted of a crime, just remember it's the list of items is very specific to. So just check that out for yourself.
Yeah, check it in the instructions. Yeah.
Another thing that I want to emphasize is that these changes take effect on the 9th of June, right, Prem?
That's correct. So yeah, so that is another caveat here. If you're involved in a crime and you're waiting to file the new one, you want to make a decision on like, hey, for the newer version, do I have to disclose this fact? For the older ones, I don't have to disclose this fact. So you got to think about this a little bit and make a decision accordingly. No?
Okay, let me see if there's any other questions. Somebody said, he says, so if arrested but not charged, I would have to show
Yeah.
documentation.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the new
Yeah.
requirements now.
Yeah, got that, Heath? Like, so yeah, I would definitely read up into that. I was arrested for domestic, but later found not convicted, and then showed document. You know, like it's better. Like Heath, I mean, this is just based on my personal opinion, and then this is also based on us dealing with certain people with the similar issues, whether they are accused of certain things or even arrested but not charged. It's better to be forthcoming as possible with it. Put the information out there. Tell your foreign fiance. It's important because what you don't want to happen is that they go in front of the CO, the consular officer, and the CO sees that, and then they ask your foreign fiance about it, and she doesn't know anything about it. That's seems to be where people get in trouble. So just be very forthcoming with it. Put it out there so that they know, and then that'll be that.
Yeah, because they're gonna ask the foreign fiance about that.
Yeah, and this particularly applies if you met online. They're much stricter if you met online and have a criminal history than if you met traditionally and have a criminal history.
I didn't know that. Okay, so another question is that also a driving record? No. Now, I can tell you driving record is not on this one. This is like, I could tell you on the top of my head.
More serious.
Yeah, it's things related to your fiance. They're trying to make sure that you are not going to harm your fiance. So they're looking at things like charged with domestic violence, convicted domestic violence, sexual abuse. They're looking for stuff like that. Seems to be what they mostly focus on. There may be some other things, and off the top of my head, I can't recall the other kinds of charges.
Like a criminal record that could affect your future relationship.
Yeah, it seems like it's more focused on relationship type things.
Yeah.
And the reason why the laws came forward for investigating the U.S. petitioner is because in the past there's been foreign fiancés who've been abused or even killed by crazy U.S. petitioners that bring women over here and just they're crazy. So they're trying to weed those people out, is what that's all about. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. Any questions over here on the Facebook side? So if arrested from Class B misdemeanor for theft, So Zachary, what I would say is go ahead and look at the list of items because it's very specific.
Can you send him the i129f instruction?
Yeah, let me see if I can bring that up, and then if you look in there, it specifically states it's very specific on the types of crimes that they look at. So I'll find that real quick.
And then let's send him the link.
Okay. Any other questions out there? While I'm looking for this, see any other questions we could ask?
Yeah, does this pertain to coming to the States? Yes, this is, hello Bruce, this is for coming to the States. Going to the Philippines, nah, they don't really.
They don't look at that?
No, they don't. Sorry, came in late, missed the topic. Yeah, for Philippines, they don't really, unless you have a crime that's committed and the U.S. is chasing for you. Then then they start contacting the Philippines to look for a criminal.
Yeah, Zachary, I just put the link in there. What you'll see there is a link to the instruction, I129f instruction, and the form. Both of those will have the information that you're looking for. Forget which section, Prim. Do you know what section it is that asks that?
Yeah, it's part 3, other information, under items 1 to 3C, and they have a list of the criminal information.
Okay.
Specified crimes, convictions of homicide, murder, manslaughter, that kind of stuff, and then also a list of domestic violence or dating violence, child abuse, neglect, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a list. There's a whole
Yep.
list, and it's much clearer than it used to be before.
Oh, great. It's not traffic violations. It's not even like theft.
It depends. It depends on the severity of the case.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, if you were drunk driving and it was the third or more time while you're doing it, then you have to disclose that. So there are a lot of specifications on what exactly you have to disclose and what you don't have to disclose.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say any crime is, if it's a misdemeanor, it doesn't qualify. Some of them might.
Okay. Yeah, Zachary, just check that out. Okay, let's see. There's another question here. It says from Billy. I filled out my fiance visa just this March, and I got a letter on March 13th that they received the application. How long will it take for the next letter?
About a month more. One more month.
We've seen that from what we've seen, the timeline for that is between 1 and 2 months. 30 days to 60 days is, it seems to be the average time there.
He's talking about the approval rates now?
Yeah, between the NOA 1 and the
NOA
2 approval. What have you been seeing?
Lately it's getting a lot longer, though.
Really? How long would you say that you're seeing?
The last time I checked, which was a few days ago, on the processing table, it was like, I think October of last year was the date that they're still pressing the dates. So I would say, what is it now, 6 months then?
Wow, seriously?
Yeah.
Whoa.
On average.
Wow.
It's been taking much longer than it used to.
Maybe it's because of all of these some of the sudden changes that have been going through. That might have something to do with it. And plus they're minimizing the staffing at the US embassies by like 15 to 20%, something like that. They're cutting the staff down. So I'm sure going forward that's going to affect the times.
Yeah. If you want, guys, who's ever listening, you can go on the USCIS website and you have the processing tables for each of the service centers. And you can choose which service center your case is in, and it'll tell you exactly how long it's taken on average for that case. Right.
Okay, let me find that link. It's USCIS. What did you say, Prem? Processing tables.
Yeah, I don't have the exact the web address, but we can send it in.
Processing times.
Okay. I think I got it here. Processing times. Yeah, got it. I'll just go ahead and put that in the link in both YouTube and
I think
Facebook.
It's a lot longer because they added more stuff in it.
Yeah, it has been evolving. So.
Yeah. Does it really matter what center that your visa gets? Yeah. Some centers are faster than others. So like depending on where you live and where you send the packet in, it gets distributed to different centers. Depending on what center your packet goes to, some of them are slower, notoriously slower than others, and some are quicker. So it will depend on which service center your case is in.
Okay, I got another question from Tresjan.
Yeah, for Billy, since it's got Billy Ramos.
All right.
Since it got longer now, just wait. Just give it maybe 3 to 5 months. That way you're not expecting, for that way. I mean, that it's taking longer now, and that.
Yeah, check out that link that I just sent, Billy. See if that works for you. That might give you a better idea.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Hi guys, Yuri, question for you. Did you have a hard time to adjust when you got here in the US? Yes, definitely. So what do you suggest I do for my fiance when she gets here from the Philippines to have a smooth transition? I would say most important would be to bring her around the area, like tourist attractions and then around town, for her to be able to familiarize the place, and then teach her how to drive.
I would say
she doesn't know yet.
That's a big one. Yeah, teaching her how to drive is big because as you know here, like everything here is so far apart, especially if you're in the West Coast, and the transportation is a little bit more sparse. So learning how to drive kind of gives them that independence. Whereas, in some other countries such as the Philippines, they just catch a jeepney and go wherever they want for cheap. But here, a taxi cab is $20. So I would say learning how to drive is a huge one. Huge.
Yeah.
Start on that like immediately.
Yeah, as soon as she gets here, and then bring her around town, teach her how to drive, because it takes a while to get the driver's license, and then also bring her to the Asian market, because food is really
Did he
important.
say she's from Philippines or
Yeah.
somewhere else? Okay. All right. Let's see if there's any more visa approved questions.
Bruce said, "Oh, you already have a place in Talisay City. That's great.
Good for you, Bruce. All
Have
right.
a good time in the
Richard
Philippines."
says, so would those things be disqualifications for a visa approval? I mean, past criminal convictions. Richard, go ahead, Prem.
Yeah, having a crime or a conviction is not like an automatic denial. It just means there are certain precautions they have to take, depending on what the severity of the crime was, what the circumstances around it were. There's only one crime or one type of crime that disqualifies you completely, and those are called the Adam Walsh Act crimes, such as crimes against minors or children. That disqualifies you automatically. But crimes such as, let's see what, domestic violence, elder abuse, even homicide and murder, these aren't automatic denials. They're just, you have to disclose all that information to the beneficiary and the embassy, and those two get to decide if they want to continue with the process or not. So there are two decisions. One, the embassy will decide, hey, I think this petitioner is really unstable, and we can't allow the beneficiary to go to that country and live with him or her. Or they'll tell the consulate will tell the beneficiary, hey, look, we're okay with this conviction, but it's your decision. Look, he has or she has a previous criminal record. Do you still want to proceed with this case? And then the beneficiary will make a decision on yes or no, I still want to continue. So convictions are an automatic denial unless they fall under the Adam Walsh law. But again, it's very difficult. If you do have a conviction or a crime or some kind of sentence or something, you're talking about a tough process then. It won't be easy. All right?
Okay, I've got some statements from Sherry. She says,
Find out what the requirements
Find out what the requirements are in your state for a driver's license. Yes.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, because that's a big one for coming here.
Christian Alberto said, good suggestion, guys. She already drives in the Philippines. That's great.
That's great. Yep.
That's
good
great.
experience. Just a matter of getting the license and getting experience here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay. Another one. Zachary says, LOL, I did that.
As well we have a couple of Asian market.
In Texas. Yeah, Texas has a lot of stuff there. Okay.
Yeah.
6 for more visa questions. I think there's some on YouTube. Let's see. From Logistics.
Yeah. He had a question earlier.
Yeah. Can you guys address my question, please? Okay.
Browse above.
I don't see your question. Logistics.
Yeah, you already passed it.
Did I?
Yeah.
When can we have our questions answered? Whoa, somebody's getting demanding.
That was when we first started.
Okay. All right, we're looking for a specific question here from Logistics.
There.
Where? Here.
As a black overweight man going to the Philippines to meet women, I wanted to know my chances realistically.
You have very good chances, realistically. Very good chances. You have to keep looking. Like, this isn't really the form for this question, but I could tell you that I know a few people that have gone over there, and they've been looking
we know
around.
a couple.
Yeah, we know more than one, and they find great women over there, great partners, I should say, because not all women. And you just have to, it's all about being a good person. It's all about being confident in yourself, and you can find it, you know. So, answer is yes. And the chances are good. All right. Jack Tripper says, I agree. You need to lose weight. Wow. Is this a troll? Are you a troll, Jack? We get trolls here sometimes.
Nah, I don't think so.
Okay. What else?
Nah, but it's because there's also hot women who's gonna try to approach you, but don't be fooled because it might not be real. So.
That's true.
Yeah, but if you lose weight, like your chances are higher too. I mean, it's not like a.
Right. I mean, look, here's the thing. If you want your dream lady to be extremely attractive, physically fit, Jack has a point. Like, if that's what you're looking for, then you should also, go in that direction. You know what I mean? If that's not something that bothers you, that you don't mind having your lady overweight because that makes that
or
she's
less
thick,
attractive,
you don't see that as less attractive, then you know what? That's something you don't have to worry about, and then that opens up more doors in a way. So just my 2 cents, guys.
We're gonna do another. How about if we do another broadcast tomorrow for Philippines question?
Yeah, we can do that.
Or
yeah, guys, we're trying to
women, dating.
Yes. We're going to try to focus on just visa approved and green card questions. We're going to end this in just how much more minutes, Prem, would you say? Like maybe 5 more minutes?
Sure, yeah.
A few more questions that we're going to try to focus, guys, on visas and green cards. We can do other topics.
We're going to do another one tomorrow about relationships. Cool?
Yeah. All right. Open topics tomorrow. All right, so we've got other questions. Looking for visas, guys. Visa questions. Do you need to show all divorces or just the last one? This is a slam dunk for Prem right here.
Of course, all of them.
All of them. That's the answer there. All.
Each and every one of them.
Yes,
yeah.
with evidence of closure on each one.
Correct.
Yeah, it's really very important, and you should also tell your fiance. That can change the direction of your relationship if she will only find out during the interview, because the consular officer are gonna tell the fiance, the foreign fiance. Yes. That happened.
Yeah, she raises a great point. Okay. Like a lot of times, for some reason, some
would hide it, their third divorce. I mean, does it matter if they've been divorced 3 times
for
already?
some reason, some U.S. petitioners don't want to reveal all of their divorces, like because they figure that the first one that they had was 30 years ago, that shouldn't matter. It does.
Second is...
And if you don't tell your foreign fiancé and she goes in front of the consular officer, they may ask about it.
Yeah.
And then if she doesn't know about it,
they reveal it.
Yeah, actually. So that's something you need to not only have the divorce decree, the annulment, or whatever evidence you have, but you need to also talk to your foreign fiancé about that. That's important.
Yeah, and that's one of the main reasons why I have an actual interview, is so the consular officer can be direct and tell them everything that they really should know about the petitioner, be it divorces or children or criminal history, and then the beneficiary gets to make a decision. That's what the interview is all about. That's what it was intended to be about. They're not trying to go there and trick you out of getting a visa, or trick you with questions and you should be really wary of them. But the main point of the interview was to let the beneficiary know, look, this is the truth about the petitioner. Do you still want to continue with the process?
They want to see if you have a real relationship.
Yeah.
Real relationship and real understanding. Yeah.
Right.
He's asking, is it like the decree? It's a divorce decree photocopy during the first part of the I129f.
That's the evidence.
And then during the interview, she has to bring them too.
Yes. So when you fill out your I-129F, one of the evidence that you're no longer in that relationship is the divorce decree, a copy of it. You can put that in your package, and then have another copy, because you're going to need to give that to your foreign fiancé as well. She needs to take it, or he needs to take it to their interview, as evidence of closure. And they should probably know a little something about it. Why you got divorced, when you got divorced, things like that. So they know you have a legitimate relationship, that you guys have already communicated those kinds of serious issues. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's go to the next one. On Facebook.
Form before you can bring her over when you submit them to an
Which one are you reading? Marvelous?
I'm here in Facebook and YouTube.
Oh,
Also,
YouTube?
if she has children included in the same. Oh, also, if she has children, do you need a separate visa or the child included on the same visa?
So children, yeah, you get to put the children on the same petition there, like you did always in the beginning too. So depending on beneficiaries' children, if they're under 21, they can apply for the K2. If they're over 21, you just have to put their information down, but they're not eligible for a K2 visa. Was that the question there?
Heath, was that your question? Did that answer your question? What
Yeah,
you think about that?
Yeah, you can use the same form.
Okay, yep, same form. That's the answer. Jack asks, what papers do you need to sign together that both you guys need to? I can think of a couple off the top of my head. What we did was we both signed the intent to marry. We had two separate forms.
Is that still the same prem?
Actually.
Yeah, no, same requirements. The statement of intent to marry, both you have to sign it.
Declaration of how we met. That was another one.
Declaration of how you met is not necessarily you have to both sign it, but the statement of intent to marry, that both of you have to sign.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And a lot of people ask me like, hey, do we have to sign it on the same form? Does it have to be the same piece of paper? It doesn't have to be the same piece of paper. You can write different, yeah. Because a lot of them say, hey, well, I've never got the form from my fiance. He or she has to mail it over to me. Does that mean I have to get it on the same piece of paper? You don't have to get it on the same piece of paper. You just have to wait for their paper to arrive, but it doesn't have to be signed on the same piece of paper. That's one of the a lot of the recurring questions that I get about the statement of intent to marry. Just so you know, it's like it is like a document where you two promise to marry each other.
Yeah.
And again, it's not necessarily the only proof you can use. You don't have to have a letter of intent to marry as the only evidence that you're going to marry. In fact, you can show wedding cards or wedding invitations or some kind of other thing on behalf of the letter instead.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah. You can do invitations. I've heard people doing that too.
Invitations,
wedding
invitations, receipts of the wedding hall or the venue, or DJs, florists, a lot of these things you can use.
Okay.
Does she have to have a death certificate of her husband so I can get a K2 also?
It seems like he's conflating two different things. I mean, the only time I would...
So I think the foreign fiance has a kid. And so she cannot bring with a kid without the authorization of the father, if the father is there.
Correct.
So that's why Jack Tripper is asking that does she need to present the certificate? I think so. If the father is dead, then there should be some kind of evidence to present.
Better safe than sorry.
And then also, if it's from the Philippines, if the case, she needs to request from the DSWD. Like, it's some kind of certification that she needs to get from the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Because that's what Marge did before, our admin. You get that form from them, an approval that you're bringing your kid outside the Philippines.
Okay.
To live in another country.
All right. I think let's conclude this, guys. We've been going for, how long is that? It's almost an hour.
Do you think... Hello, Mark Vance!
All right, guys. We're going to conclude this. Unless there's any other visa questions. What about Marvelous over here on the Facebook side? Just want to ask something. Is it okay if I still not changed our status here in the U.S.? All my IDs R for single name. All right, we get this question a lot. All my IDs are all in my single last name. My green card arrived yesterday and it still has my single name. Not my husband's name. Thank you guys for your answer.
Yeah, that's okay too.
Yeah,
you can
fine.
actually keep your last name in the United States. It doesn't have, unless it's your choice to use your husband's last name.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're kind of dwindling on views on Facebook side. We've still got quite a few people on the YouTube side, but we're gonna go ahead and shut this down.
Steve,
Or
okay.
are we asking more questions?
Okay, I wanna answer one more question.
All right.
Steven, are there any Asian market? Is the Asian market in Colorado Springs any good? It's average,
okay.
but you just
Yeah.
you just have to take what you can.
Yeah, take what you can get. So.
Okay. I'm just tuning in. What's the special guest on this live? Oh, it's Prem.
That's a great closure. That's a great closure.
I'm just tuning
this is Prem.
This is Prem
Our
from
special
VisaTutor.com.
Yes, awesome guy, super duper knowledgeable on this subject because he's been through the process himself and he's been helping lots and lots of people at his blog VisaTutor.com.
Yes, and this is not our first session with Prem. We had had an interview with him.
This was it was a long time ago.
Yeah, before we started. Did we start the Facebook group? We just started a Facebook group at that time.
Yeah, so it was a while ago. So
yeah,
we didn't know Prem before Visa approved, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Prem is awesome. Make sure you reach out to him on Facebook, on YouTube, on his blog. He's super knowledgeable. And I think that's it, guys. I think that's a wrap.
So Prem has lots of good information for you guys. So if you want to check out the new updates, because we don't have the new updates yet. We need to update the app. We have to put that on pending. Maybe.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So many changes now that we have to make.
Yeah. His site has great information about fiancé visa, so you can also check that out because he's got good information.
Prem, anything?
Yeah, if you guys have any kind of questions specifically on the newer form, just an email away. Just type in your question, send it over, and I'll respond to you.
Thanks a lot, Prem. All right, guys, we're gonna cancel this. We're gonna shut this live stream down. We'll see if we can arrange another one next week.
We need to arrange a new one tomorrow because we're getting questions.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm off tomorrow. I'm not working. We're gonna arrange what time?
You tell me.
What time is your meeting?
I've gotta look at my work.
Okay, guys. So just check out the site. We're on our Facebook accounts. We're gonna put another live YouTube live and Facebook for relationship and Philippines questions.
Yeah, open discussion where we just talk about anything.
It's actually connected to fiancé visa, because you cannot bring someone that you don't know yet, or you cannot proceed to a relationship if you have not built the real relationship.
It's all interconnected, and that's why we get all these extra questions. All right, guys, we're out of here. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Jack Tripper. Thanks, Richard. Thanks, Heath Davis.
Jack.
Thanks, Stephen Hood.
Thank you,
Marvelous.
Mark.
Thank Mark Gable. Thank you, Steve. Thanks, everybody. It's been great. We got to continue to do this. I hope that you guys will continue to participate. Thank you, Prem. Biggest thanks.
Thank you so much for.
Thanks, guys,
Thank you for your knowledge.
Yes, that was also an update for us.
Yeah, kinda. All right, see you guys later.